Welcome to, and here it goes, Aukedora Dev Log 5. Now, we've got 7 topics to cover today: launcher, the world, resources, crafting, balancing, the game release, and what's next. Now, you may have noticed that this video is a little different than usual because it's not edited. This is actually me just going through things really fast through a quick flow because I just did not want to actually edit and record a video. And there's so much I would rather just go through it in person. So the first thing is the launcher. Now, the launcher, a lot of people actually know about this already. This is the Quartzified launcher, as I call it. It's a very, very simple launcher with a game category. Now, this is where you will most likely be downloading Aukedora from. Now, why a launcher? It just makes things way easier. If the game has an update, the install button will change to update if you have it installed already. As it says here, new version available. When you install it, it's just basically going to install the client and then let you play. You can just press play and it works. As you can see here, the install location currently is hard coded. It's going to be where you launch the launcher from in games and then the folder itself. And it adds a little version text just to, ensure it knows where what is. Now, if we press play, it's going to open up Aukedora for us. And this is where we start to see already, oh my goodness, it's different, isn't it? Now, this would be very embarrassing if I, by chance, did not know my login. So let's hope I'm correct. I am correct. I'm already a level 5, job level 6. I did a couple quests early on into the game, unlocked some new abilities. I did actually not... Okay, I got repeated strike. That's actually really cool. Now, the topics for today. The world. So as you can see, the map is no longer a spiral, so to speak. It actually has some sort of map. You spawn over here in the little port area, and this is your first main town. It's very small right now. Only harbors 3 NPCs, 1 to sell weapons, basic equipment, which is a basic weapon such as a level 1 for each type, in case you delete all your weapons and you don't have any, which you require to use skills. Same as with equipment, cloth robe. And then for the first 3 classes, which have been locked, so you cannot pick between them for now in this release, the sword fort, which is a level 14 training sword, training bow, and training staff. And then the respective armor to it, which are very close in balancing, but a little different. Alice Goods here currently sells overpriced and completely broken potions. One of them being an experience potion, so theoretically speaking, you can just give yourself experience at the moment. This will be left in for the time being for balancing, to test out things real quick, so on and so forth. And we got our little glass cannon here, who will teach us our skills if we need to know any. Then, of course, if we continue on, we actually make it outside of the town to where the more higher level enemies are, the non-beginner enemies. Well, they are still the beginner as they're level 2 and 3, but they will definitely showcase that they are a little bit harder to kill than the other ones. I am now level 5. I have quite strong attacks, but my health will still be dying. I will move this up into this corner so you can see my health, and I will be dying. And this is where abilities are important, as this buff will now make me deal way more damage and take way less damage. Very simple. Going back into the settings, because I never explained them very well, there are some very basic settings, such as resolution settings, full screen, VSync, which I've 144 hertz monitor will set it to 144, but I really don't care. And FPS, you have both foreground and background, so if you have the game selected and the game disabled. The background FPS should not go less than 10, otherwise it would be bugged. Same as here, settings. You can enable disable shadows, all to ensure that everybody can play the game, as well as terrain. As you can see, it will make the terrain look ugly as fuck. Yes, I do swear. And other things, ping is very important to state that the ping that it shows is actually not real, it's actually half. So if it says 50, your ping is more likely to be around 25 and 30. And your network data is very important for other people to track, especially me. There's also a minimap, which is just a very regular minimap that is just a camera looking from the top down. This is all very simple. Also, you can, I believe, zoom out and zoom in. Now, there are also resources in the world now, currently only showcasing ore. This is a tin vein that if you break it, which takes time, this will be an introduction to a new class called the Forager, which will allow you to actually, as you can see, I'm missing a lot now, and this is an actual mechanic, and it's supposed to be like this. You require the Forager class to mine these ores. Now, the important thing to state is the beginning ores only have 10 health, which means theoretically speaking, you only have to hit him 10 times. And once you do, he will drop items. Now, in this case, it dropped me tin ore, two pieces. Now, you might be wondering, hey, what can I do with this tin ore? Well, good question. You can craft. And this is where the crafting menu comes into play. Welcome to crafting, everyone. It's 90% of all the recipes are still missing because I'm still working with it. The crafting class itself, or not class, but leveling has not been implemented yet. So as you can see, it requires level 20 to craft. This would be smelting level 20. So you would require smelting level 20 to craft the steel ingot. And to create bronze, you need both copper, which is also a type of vein, and tin. And it has a 90% chance of succeeding, which means there is actually chance in crafting. But you do not have to stand still while crafting. You can move along. Some recipes will probably take longer than a couple seconds to craft, so you might be walking around while crafting your recipe. There's other menus such as blacksmith, leatherworking, tailoring, alchemy, jewel crafting, and cooking, which currently have just been added but not necessarily implemented. Alchemy is the only other place with recipes for a regular health potion, lesser health potion, lesser mana potion, and regular mana potion. These require flasks, empty vials, slime, and then a resource that has not been implemented yet, Darien berries, which you can get as a gatherable. These are what these tin veins are called. In copper veins, they are gatherables. You can destroy them and you get materials from them. They will respawn between 5 minutes or 10 minutes to 30 minutes, something around that. Balancing for that, obviously, I still need to work on because there's not many people playing, so I cannot really assume how long it should take for them to respawn. Then, as we talked about balancing just now, balancing is very, very important to me. And this is the main reason to why I actually decided to release Aukedora to the public. Or not necessarily public, but if you know how to get your hands on the launcher, you can play the game. And the launcher will become public soon on one of two following websites, which will be the Aukedora website or my personal website. And then you will be able to play the game just however you want. I just want to mention though that accounts are temporary. So your account will be deleted every other update to ensure that everybody resets to the beginning so I can get balancing values and all that stuff like feedback. I will mainly get it through feedback. Hopefully people actually will give feedback rather than just play the game and then just be like, oh, my character got deleted, rip. I want to make everybody aware that your character will be deleted, your account, full account, everything in the database will be, database will basically just be deleted and then replaced with with an empty one. So if you want to test the game and give feedback, I very much would like for people to do so. And then coming to the game release as, wow, I'm really good at just going through everything. Damn. The game is not gonna release anytime soon, as in a state of alpha. We are way, way far away from alpha still. But I would call this a pre-dev test. So we're not even in dev at the moment, at a dev alpha or whatever you want to call it. We're way pre-alpha. We're still in a pre-dev test. So theoretically, this version should not be public. at all. But I believe it is very important that I get feedback from the community, from people that actually play the game to tell me, oh, these mobs, they're way too hard, or this item needs to be nerfed, or the overall balancing of equipment like armor, you have to set the values down to at least 10 more percent or increase them. Otherwise, it's way too hard to defeat mobs or way too easy to defeat mobs. Something like that. I would really appreciate people's feedback. That's very important to me because alone I will definitely not be able to do these things. This is where the community comes in, and the community is very important. Aukedora has its own Discord server. It will be down in the description below. But now for the topic of what's next. Well, next is adding the other gathering resources. I noticed a lot of, not flaws in the code, but repetition of code that I can definitely put into utility classes. So I will be working on making the code look more nice so I can work with it better. Also, for people that don't know, I currently started a new job, so I will be working on Aukedora less, possibly only on weekends. So that's even less time than before, because before I did it every day or every other day. But yeah, currently resources are a big thing. I need to add the new bushes and the mushrooms so that I can add cooking recipes and alchemy recipes work properly. The alchemist Alice Goods still does not sell empty vials. It's supposed to sell empty vials, so you can then start crafting your potions yourself. And on top of that, grubs are supposed to drop silk so that you can make cloth. And then with tailoring, you can end up making some basic clothing. And then when that is all added, and then crafting actually has a level and all that stuff, it is time to actually work towards the new characters and the visuals. And I think I'd rather work on the visuals before the new characters, which means that you can visually see the bow being in your hand and you using it, that you can see the sword in your hand when you swing it at an enemy, the mage staff on your back when casting magic with your hands. That is very important, and I feel like that's going to give a lot of feel to the game. And then additionally, before we reach alpha, I need to completely rework the database system. So that is also a hint. In alpha, hopefully in alpha, it will be one of the last clears of people's accounts. Otherwise, maybe in beta it will clear again because of some big change. But then at that point, it should definitely be unchanged. Your account should be safe. But during pre-alpha, so these dev tests, keep in mind your account will most likely be deleted, will most likely be removed and cleared, and so you have to make a new account every now and then. Now, an interesting question people have asked me is how much FPS can you give Aukedora? Like, how good does it run? So I'm currently on max stats, and I myself can run at 200 FPS. I can probably run more if I disable the minimap, 300 FPS. Yeah, it's pretty chill. But an interesting fact about it is you do not require a good CPU to run it. You can probably run it on a pretty weak i5 or even i3, if that even means anything. The amount of RAM you need for the game is currently between 200 and 300. So if you have 512 megabytes of RAM, you should be completely fine. And your GPU definitely does not have to be high end. Definitely not. And these settings are here for a purpose. They are there so that everybody, even if you don't have a high end GPU, should be capable of playing the game. And if people don't like shadows, just disable all the shadows. I do have to say it's not that pretty without shadows, but it's not bad either. It's not bad, but it's not pretty. And yeah, it's the game's running pretty high. But I do like sitting on 60 FPS. I don't see a reason why it to be any higher than 60. And then also to showcase the background FPS, if I click out of the game, goes down to 30. Isn't that cool? I think that's really cool. I'm very proud of that. Also, the amount of data, as I've talked, the network statistics is quite important. This is around the average of what it should be. Probably around in data in the last 60 seconds, it should never go higher than 60 kilobytes. If it does, then it's probably something is wrong and there's some sort of leak with enemies, something's wrong, or there are a lot of people. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys are excited for Aukedora. I will make a new video of all the new updates in the probably the old fashion of how the other logs have been going. And with that, hopefully the launcher will be available on either website. So, thank you everyone. Bye bye. Have a nice day.